Have you ever looked back at the moment in your life and thought, if that one small thing hadn't happened, my life would be completely different? Maybe it was a conversation you almost didn't have. Maybe it was a place you almost didn't go. Maybe it was someone you randomly met or someone you randomly didn't meet. At the time, it felt like nothing special, just another ordinary moment in an ordinary day. But later, you realized that moment was actually a turning point. Maybe it introduced you to someone important. Maybe it taught you something valuable. Maybe it pushed you towards a direction you never expected. And suddenly, you start wondering, was that just a coincidence? Or was there something deeper happening? Because the more you think about life, the more you start noticing something strange. The most important moments in our lives often come from unexpected situations. Not only the painful moments, not only the lucky moments, but also the neutral ones, the quiet ones, the ones we almost ignore. And that leads us to a powerful idea. Everything happens for a reason. Not in a mystical way, not in a magical destiny written somewhere, but in the sense that every moment carries meaning, every event carries lessons, and every situation shapes the path ahead of you. Today, we are going to explore this idea deeply, because once you begin to understand how life actually works, you stop seeing life as random chaos and you start seeing it as a chain of connected moments shaping who you become. Think about your life right now. Where you live, what you do, the people you know, the skills you have, the opportunities you have experienced. None of that appeared out of nowhere. Every single thing in your life is the result of hundreds of small moments that happened before. Maybe you chose a certain school, maybe you moved to a certain city, maybe you attended a certain event, maybe you accepted or rejected a certain opportunity. Each of those choices created a new situations, new people, new possibilities. And those possibilities created even more moments. So life works like a chain reaction. One moment leads to another, and another, and another. But here's the interesting part. When we are living those moments, they usually feel ordinary. We rarely realize we are standing inside a moment that might influence the next 5 or 10 years of our life. Only later, when we look back, we see how connected everything really was. Sometimes, life gives us moments that feel obviously positive. You meet someone who becomes a lifelong friend. You discover a passion that turns into a career. You receive an opportunity that opens new doors. Maybe you attend a workshop and learn a skill that later transforms your life. Maybe you meet a person who introduces you to an idea you had never considered before. At that moment, it feels exciting, but still simple. But years later, you realize something incredible. If that one moment had not happened, your life would have taken a completely different path. Many successful people describe moments exactly like this. Moments where one meeting, one introduction, one idea changed everything. And when they look back, they often say something fascinating. It almost feels like that moment was meant to happen. But here's something most people overlook. Many of the moments that shape our lives don't feel positive or negative at all. They feel completely neutral. You choose to sit in a different seat. You strike up a casual conversation. You decide to attend something out of curiosity. You send a message, you explore an idea. At that time, there is no drama, no big emotion, just a normal moment in a normal day. But those neutral moments can quietly lead to important outcomes. A casual conversation might introduce you to a new opportunity. A random event might connect you with someone who later becomes important in your journey. A simple curiosity might lead you to discover something that completely changes your direction in life. These moments feel ordinary, but they quietly shape the future. Now let's talk about another type of moment, the ones that didn't happen. The conversation you didn't start, the opportunity you didn't explore, the idea you didn't act upon. Everyone has these moments where later you think, maybe I should have tried. But even those situations have value because they teach awareness, they teach courage, they teach initiative. Sometimes the reason something didn't happen is because it prepares you to act differently the next time. Life constantly gives feedback, not always through success, sometimes through reflection, and that reflection shapes how you behave in future moments. Then there are the moments that feel difficult, the failure, rejection, unexpected problems, plans that fall apart. At the time, these situations feel frustrating, sometimes even painful. But many people later realize something surprising. Those moments redirected them towards something better. A failed plan pushes someone to try a different idea. A rejected application pushes someone to improve their skills. A disappointing experience helps someone understand what they truly want. In the moment, it feels like a setback, but later it becomes a redirection. And without the redirection, the better path might never have appeared. If everything in life carries potential meaning, then awareness becomes extremely important because opportunities don't always arrive with big announcements. Sometimes they appear quietly in conversations, in ideas, in people you meet, in places you go. The more curious and aware you become, the more you start noticing possibilities around you. You begin asking questions, you begin exploring ideas, and you begin talking to the people, and suddenly the world feels full of connections. Life becomes less about waiting and more about engaging with the moments that appear. One of the most fascinating truths about life is this: the pattern is almost never visible in the moment. While you are living your life, things feel random. But when you look back across years, you begin to see the connections, the people who entered your life at the right time, the lessons that arrive exactly when you needed them, the unexpected moments that led you somewhere meaningful. What once looked like unrelated events suddenly look like the pieces of a larger story, not because everything was planned perfectly, but because every moment contributed something to your growth and direction. So, if everything that happens carries potential meaning, how should we live? The answer is simple. Live with curiosity. Be open to people. Explore opportunities. Ask questions. Take action when moments appear. And most importantly, pay attention. Because life is constantly presenting situations that could lead somewhere interesting. Sometimes they lead to friendships, sometimes to ideas, sometimes to lessons, sometimes to opportunities, but only if we are present enough to notice them. So life is not just a collection of random events, it's a web of connections, moments, decisions, encounters, experiences. Some of them will feel amazing, some will feel disappointing, some will feel completely ordinary, but every single one of them has the power to influence what comes next. Sometimes the reason becomes clear immediately, sometimes it takes years to understand. But when you look back at your journey, you may start to notice something incredible. The moment that shaped your life often appeared quietly, unexpectedly, and without warning. And that's why it's important to stay aware, stay curious, stay open to people, ideas, and opportunities. Because the next ordinary moment in your life might secretly be the moment that changes everything. And when you realize that, life stops feeling random and starts feeling like a story that is still unfolding, one meaningful moment at a time. So if you like this video, like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.